Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the main roster on Twitch Sports. It is our 50th episode of the main roster, which apparently is a big milestone number. And it's our first episode on Twitch Sports, so it's all happening today. It's all magical power and stuff. I don't know.
Happening.
We need to praise the god of Vince McMahon. Seth Rollins.
Vince McMahon.
Who is our main roster messiah? That's the question.
The Fiend.
The Fiend. Fair enough. Praise the Fiend. Job done.
It's the Fiend.
Praise Alexa Bliss.
Oh, I'll praise Alexa Bliss.
You already do. My name is Jez. I'm joined as always by my co-host Dan. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. It was my birthday last week, so...
Yes, I was going to say, a belated birthday. You failed to mention that, the day before your birthday last week when we were doing this show. But you've got some birthday goodies to show off there.
Yes.
Go for it.
So my mum, who knows nothing about WWE, she actually went on WWE Shop and bought me a shirt and some trousers. She went on there, she didn't know what superstars are like, so she got very generic stuff. So she got me a shirt that's actually quite cool.
That is very cool. Yeah,
and she got me some trousers.
Yeah, as I said to Dan as we were getting ready to go live, that I was fully ready to be here and mock him incessantly for WWE pajamas. But then as I've seen them and he's shown me them, I'm like, damn it, they're pretty cool, and now I want the pair. So no mocking here. Yeah. Kamen Rider Wizard wants cake. Unfortunately, due to the constraints of the internet, I can't provide you any cake. I could try and smush it into my webcam, but I think that would end badly for everyone, really. But I do have a little gift for some people. Actually, everyone who's in the chat so far. Unlocked a new emote yesterday. Tamsin's popped in with the squirrel raid, but there is another squirrel for you to use there as well. So go and check that out if you're a subscriber. An extra tier 1 emote. I'm very excited about it. I hope everyone else will be too.
On people, let's use it.
But we're not here for squirrels today. This isn't Twitch Squirrels, it's Twitch Sports. So shall we get cracking and talk about the sport of professional wrestling?
Yeah, let's dive right in. So we'll kick off with Friday Night SmackDown, which got underway with Michael Cole in the ring, set to interview Daniel Bryan. Bryan was asked about the originally scheduled tag team match that was supposed to take place at Fastlane, where he and Edge would team to face Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Bryan noted that, as usual, nobody bothered to ask him about the match, and that he had a better idea for the pay-per-view, which involved Reigns defending his Universal Championship against him. He went on to say that when Edge arrived and pointed at the WrestleMania sign, he felt like a failure. He realised that he failed himself when he put himself on the back burner in the past year. Bryan began to explain that from now on he was backing himself all the way to WrestleMania main event, but it was at this point he was interrupted by Roman Reigns, Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. Reigns mocked the new ambitious Daniel Bryan and suggested Bryan would have a better understanding of the whole situation after Jey Uso whoops him later in the night. Uso tried to jump Bryan back, but was met with a quick arm drag and was tossed from the ring. Reigns and Heyman left Bryan in the ring as the commentators hyped SmackDown's Steel Cage main event.
Yeah, I don't know why I put in the week. Sorry about that.
Just to confuse me.
Yeah. I'm like, let's keep the dyslexic on his toes and put words that have no part in this sentence in there, make no sense within the context. But yes.
I made it.
Expertly dodged there. Well done.
Thank you very much.
It was a good opening, I felt, to SmackDown.
I think it was really good.
Pretty happy with it. And I complained last week about wanting a Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns match, but kind of going, well, what's the point? We know what the outcome is going to be. And we still know what the outcome is going to be, but I feel like they're doing a better job of maybe, like, scratching away at that certainty.
Yeah. Yeah, trying to throw us off a little bit.
Yeah. Making something that seems like an obvious outcome be less obvious. It's going to be another Kevin Owens situation again, where it's like, there's no point in even having the match.
Yeah.
But, damn it, at least the build-up to it will be of a high quality.
Yeah, it'll be a great build-up.
Yes.
Bring it on.
I'm not sure what I would prefer, actually. Whether I would prefer Roman Reigns versus Edge or Daniel Bryan versus Edge.
I would prefer Roman Reigns versus Edge. I don't know why.
It makes the most sense.
I just do.
And in terms of, a strong heel and a strong babyface, I think that works better. Unless you turn Daniel Bryan heel in this process. But at that point, what do you gain other than a higher, caliber of wrestler in Daniel Bryan? But you don't really gain a whole lot when, Roman Reigns' heat is just on fire right now. Nobody likes this guy. I do, but you know what I mean. He is playing that heel role perfectly.
Yeah, I love his heel role at the moment.
Absolutely, it gets better every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot to get to in terms of WrestleMania, so putting this little roadblock in the way of Fastlane and a Universal Championship match, I'm all for it. It's better than trying to drag out this Edge build-up all the way to WrestleMania. We've got some comments about the PJs. It's a PJ day, says Matt.
Okay.
And every day is a PJ day in my house, says Tamsin. Mine too. I put on jeans or shorts to go out of the house. And then it's back into PJs, at least while it's cold. I do tend to wear shorts when it's a bit
exactly
warmer.
What I'm like.
But I'm in PJs now. I'm actually in my Christmas dinosaur PJs.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't put them away when I got them last Christmas 2019, and I've still worn them through Christmas 2020 and into what are we now, March? Yeah, dinosaur PJs. They don't beat your WWE PJs, but they're pretty cool.
No, nothing beats my WWE PJs.
Well, what definitely beats, or doesn't, what is definitely not beaten by your, I can't even think of how I want to say this. Your
PJs. I've thrown my dyslexia at you.
You have a bit, yeah. Your PJs better than this thing I'm about to talk about. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. PJ's good. Yes. Next segment, bad.
Ugh.
Ugh. And following their unsuccessful... I'll learn to speak soon. It's 34 years later, and I'm like, speaking. I'll learn it one day. Let's try again.
Carry on.
Following their unsuccessful tag team debut last week, King Corbin and Sami Zayn had... I can't write either. I can't read, I can't write, I can't speak. Following their unsuccessful tag team debut last week as the team of King Corbin and Sami Zayn, Corbin had no desire to repeat the performance this week. Instead of a tag team match, Corbin challenged Montez Ford to a one-on-one match. Zayn remained at ringside and proved himself useful, using his documentary crew to cost Ford the win. Zayn then took on Angelo Dawkins, but was forced to do so alone when Corbin left ringside after Zayn was knocked onto him from the ring apron. Where Ford failed, Dawkins succeeded, after Zayn became distracted by Montez Ford performing some kind of dancey gyration for his documentary crew, and he was rolled up for the 1-2-3. After the match, Zayn became irate and took out his frustrations on one of his documentary cameramen. And my constant screwing up of the reading of that synopsis was more entertaining than this entire segment.
Absolutely.
If I may be so bold to say so.
Where is this going?
It's a good question, because it's not going to result in a King Corbin and Sami Zayn match, is it?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Does anyone want to see that? Other than that, no, I've no idea where this is going. None at all. And it seems like the Street Profits are heading back towards a tag team championship shot. So it's not actually leading to a feud with the Street Profits.
Yeah.
It's just filling time, I think.
Yeah,
it's just keeping Sami Zayn on TV, being annoying, and and calling conspiracy at every turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm liking this whole Sami Zayn conspiracy documentary crew thing, but just put him in something decent.
Yeah, put him against someone who he can shout conspiracy at. Put him against someone high level who he can blame for the whole conspiracy. You know, a company guy. Bring back John Cena for WrestleMania. Have Sami Zayn versus John Cena, because John Cena is the ultimate company guy.
There you go.
That's where that should go. I don't think it will, but that's where that should go. Karma says they'd have to turn Zayn face, or someone face. I can't see a face Corbin. I can't see both of them turning face at the moment.
No.
You know, Sami Zayn has got that heat from being irritating and crying wolf, crying conspiracy all the time. And King Corbin just generally isn't very likable. I don't think that guy is ever going to turn babyface.
No.
He's not very likable at all.
I've got a question about King Corbin. Didn't he have two guys that followed him round briefly? The Knights or whatever he called them?
Yeah, that didn't last very long. Because one of them was Steve Cutler. And he was promptly released.
Yeah.
He's gone. I think he's Peyton Royce's boyfriend.
No, Peyton Royce's boyfriend is...
Sean Spears. Yeah. Who am I thinking then?
Ty Dillinger.
Oh, I know who it is. No, I might be making this up as well. Deonna Purrazzo? It's some female wrestler anyway, because I've seen them photographed afterwards, and it's like, thanks for making me shave my head and then releasing me. Like, cheers. I had super long biker hair to go with the biker gimmick you gave me before that, and now I'm bald and unemployed. Gee, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
So yeah, he's gone, and then it was the one that isn't Buddy Murphy.
Blake.
Yes, Wesley Blake, thank you. He was the other one, and he's gone back to whatever it was he's not doing now.
He's gone back to not being on telly.
Yeah, basically. Not being on NXT, not being on the main roster, not being anywhere. So that's what happened to them. It was a terrible idea, and I'm glad that they ditched it as quickly as they brought it up. So I do miss the sedan carrying him to the ring.
Yeah. That was cool. It comes out every now and then, but not as much as I think we would like.
No, I would like it every week for every entrance. Yeah. Even if he comes out 3 times in one show, I want him to come out on that sedan. I want it to be relentlessly irritating. It's like, no, the king only arrives on a sedan. There is no other method of getting to the ring.
Carrying him.
Yeah, they were pretty big. Yeah, I'd like them to be even more jacked. I'd like them to get on the squats, and I would like them to come down to the ring and kneel so that the sedan is at ring level, so he doesn't even have to get down, or they don't have to go to commercial break. He can just get down onto the ring apron. It's not that heavy, surely. Just get on the squats. Stop being so lazy.
Anyway,
I don't think there's much more to say about this Corbin Zayn situation. Watch this space, I guess.
Yeah, but I'll say the next bit wasn't as great.
No, well, yeah. Carry on.
Not getting any better. The next matchup saw Dominic Mysterio go one-on-one with Chad Gable. And predictably, Mysterio was able to surprise Gable with a quick roll-up and steal the victory.
Mega predictable, yeah. So, we are fully going with Dominic Mysterio is a fluky git like his dad. Is that the gimmick we're honing right now?
Yes.
We're not going for Dominic Mysterio has been training and is developing his skill and is now able to beat people, even if they are, former Olympians and excellent wrestlers like Chad Gable. We're going with fluky git.
Yes.
Great. Well, I'm glad we cleared that up because I hate it.
Go on.
Just dropping my head in to say Chad Gable is super underrated. He is super underrated.
He is.
But he's never going to be successful in WWE, and through no fault of his own.
No.
But thanks for the lurk, and thanks for the lurk, MJ Harmstone as well, and anybody else who's silently lurking. Yeah.
Yes.
I've never really cared about Rey Mysterio. I now vicariously don't care about Dominic Mysterio. I suppose it's useful in terms of developing this heel Gable and Otis team.
Yeah.
But I shared my thoughts on that last week. I don't really need to see a heel Otis. I don't think we need another heel big man. I think he was much better as a baby face. But why is Dominic Mysterio still around? Asked Carmen.
Because his father's still around.
Pretty much, yeah.
That is it.
Yeah. We could have dispensed with all of this if Rey Mysterio had just gone to AEW like he was supposed to.
Yeah.
I'd have probably dug Rey Mysterio in AEW because they'd have probably turned him heel and put him with the Lucha Bros, and that would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Rey Mysterio as a mentor to the Lucha Bros as uber heels. That would have been
cool.
neat. Might have
get more old people to AEW.
Yeah, that's it's Attitude Era Wrestling, right? That's what the AEW stands for.
I never thought of it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you that one in advance. I wanted a natural reaction.
Very good.
I was going to rock it out later, but no time like the present. Speaking of heel Otis, where is Tucker? I think he pops up on Main Event every now and again. We talked about Tucker last week, and that we know that he's really not doing anything because he wasn't even a lumberjack in the lumberjack match for the WWE Championship.
When you're not a lumberjack in a lumberjack match, you are below a jobber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somebody might want to check that he didn't get future endeavored without us noticing.
Yeah. Maybe.
It's funny because Retribution, when it came in, we thought it might be all of these guys that have just been pushed to the side and jobbed out. And there's a whole group of them now that could form an actual group like that. Yeah. Just from the people we've mentioned already, say Wesley Blake, Tucker, they could fill that team and go on a kind of Nexus-y type tear. But there you go.
Bring back the Nexus.
Bring back the Nexus. Indeed. They got Wade Barrett there now. He could manage them if he doesn't want to wrestle anymore.
Yeah.
Even Kurt Hawkins got more TV time. Exactly. Yeah. Even Kurt Hawkins got a very public losing streak. At least that put him on TV every week, even if it was
absolutely
weird.
He had a shirt with it on.
He did. Yeah. I don't know what the the number is. Murphy, Alistair Black. See, there's a list of them. There is a list of them. They just don't want to put them on TV at all. Bring back Thingamabob, who's with names. No, it's not coming. The guy that was with my God, my brain is not working. Austin Theory, that's who I'm thinking of. Austin Theory, who was on Raw for about 10 seconds and then got sent back to
he's
NXT.
Back on NXT now.
With he's hanging out with the other name that I can't remember. Johnny Gargano, thank you. Yeah. So He would fit into that stable as well.
Yeah.
The Tucker merch, not in my Lumberjack match, or not in the Lumberjack match, sold terribly. Yeah, it would do. A bit like Tucker. Sold terribly.
Yeah.
That's why he's not on the show anymore. MVP had more TV time in 2010 with a losing streak. Yeah. Bo Dallas been in catering for 2 years. There is a long list of people who are just not on television that I had forgotten about. But is Bo Dallas still employed? Is he really?
He's still employed.
Oh my god!
I know that he's still employed.
Because I thought he was released in the last lot of them. No, he's still there.
He was.
Wow.
Started up a housing estate agents with Liv Morgan, apparently.
All right. Is he with Liv Morgan, or is that just a...
No.
Yeah.
That's just because.
I thought I'd look up Curtis Axel while I was here, and he was released. So, there you go.
Curtis Axel's gone, long gone.
Dear me.
No, apparently he is going out with Liv Morgan.
Oh, there you go.
According to Kamen Rider Wizard. Not saying what Kamen Rider Wizard said, but...
No, the phrasing that was used is not exactly as family friendly as we
just say Bo Dallas is going out with Liv Morgan, and he's lucky.
Yes. Where's my WWE Network sitcom about only the guys lounging around the catering table? Oh, that would be so good. That would be amazing. But you know that WWE would not do that. You just know that they wouldn't. I mean, back to Bo Dallas for a second. Do you know who would totally be on board with Seth Rollins' vision? Bo Dallas.
It would, wouldn't it?
It just fits. Why haven't they done that?
Yeah. There was talk a very, very, very long time ago that he was going to join the Fiend or something. So.
Yeah, they should have given him Alexa Bliss's gimmick. Sitting in a pentagram clapping. Other jobbers, can we please get Angel Garza a slight tweak on his gimmick? The whole trouser ripping stuff is just ridiculous. I haven't seen him do that in a while, and I kind of liked it. I thought it was...
I liked it.
When it works, it's good, but most of the time the bottom popper gets stuck and it just kind of ruins the momentum.
Yeah. Cesaro did it better.
Cesaro did do it better, yeah. I really liked his kind of James Bond entrance.
He'd rip the whole suit off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that was good.
We are really digressing here on a tangent.
We've entered the jobber reminiscing section of the show, but shall we crack back on with SmackDown?
Yes.
So, backstage, Carmella fired Reginald as her sommelier, but this did not stop him following Sasha Banks to ringside, as she took her place there to watch her WrestleMania opponent and Fastlane tag team partner take on Shayna Baszler. Reginald would find himself knocked down by Belair before he dodged an attack from Nia Jax, leaving Sasha Banks to take the brunt of it. In the ring, Baszler went for the Kirifuda clutch, but she was countered into the KOD, giving Belair the victory. After the match, Banks once again spurned Reginald's advances with a brutal, and it was brutal, slap to the face. Kamen Rider Wizard is not at all family friendly today.
Yeah, no, he's not.
I need to keep it PG, he says, and immediately follows it up with a not PG statement. So, we were already confused about where this Reginald thing was going in terms of Sasha Banks.
Indeed.
And we'll get back to it a little later because it crops up again over this weekend of wrestling. But Carmella officially separated from him, so Carmella won't be seen again until after WrestleMania, I guess. She won't be doing anything of any kind of use. They were just putting that to bed a little bit. And apparently he's not going to be involved in the... Well, he might be, I suppose. I don't know where this is going, Dan. It's just hurting my brain and confusing me immensely.
I've given up on it.
I'm just waiting for it to play out, and yeah, we'll come back to it later because he pops up again on Raw.
Yeah.
So I might be able to articulate my point a bit better without spoiling what happens on Raw.
Dear.
So
Yeah.
I'll stop now, says Carmen. I probably won't. Yeah. Right. Let's move on to the person that should be the leader of Bo Dallas, Seth Rollins.
So after an interview backstage, Seth Rollins was approached by his former disciple, Murphy. Murphy was told to get out of Rollins' sight, which made it slightly surprising that Rollins would come to ringside for Murphy's match with Cesaro. Despite the Australian's desire to curry a favour with Rollins again, he was unable to defeat Cesaro and tapped out in the sharpshooter.
I like that they are keeping Rollins and Cesaro apart for the time being. There doesn't seem to be any hint or sign that this is going to culminate at Fastlane, which is good.
Yeah.
I want this at WrestleMania. Slightly bizarre decision to bring Murphy back as Rollins' disciple, or trying to be Rollins' disciple after he was his disciple, then he wasn't his disciple, then he was his disciple again, and then he wasn't his disciple again because he wanted to bang Mysterio's daughter, and then he was his disciple again, and then he wasn't his disciple again. I think it's 3 times that we've had it go, he is, he isn't, and now we're on the 4th, he might be. Yeah. And he won't be back again next week. It just seems like, who can face Cesaro that, can actually throw a headlock? Oh, Murphy! Hi! Forgot you were here. Come on down. Mr. McMahon, does this really make sense for me to be taking on one of Seth Rollins' opponents? Damn it, I'm Vince McMahon. You'll do as I tell you. Okay, Vince, fine. I'm just glad to be here for the catering.
And back to WWE catering.
And now off you pop to my special Nexus Retribution stable, Murphy, with your old buddy, Wesley Blake.
Yeah.
Is Murphy still noncing Ray's daughter? Ray's daughter was very legal, Carmen, but I get your meaning. No. Something that...
19?
Yeah, she's 19, yeah. But something that was on the dirt sheets was that they were abandoning that story without any explanation. Not sure why.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably because she couldn't turn up on SmackDown without almost losing her top.
Yeah, there is that.
Like her clothing choices for television were very questionable, and her top nearly completely fell off her twice. And that does not make a pre-Watershed program, I'm afraid.
No, it doesn't.
Catering Team Mafia. Yes, that's the name. Do 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 do. I think that was the main event Mafia's theme. I might just have done something else. That might have been Damian Priest. Sounds quite similar. Anyway, Cesaro singles match at WrestleMania. That's not how we do things here. Well, it better be. That's all I'm saying. I'm not having months of hype for nothing. We do Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, so let's have Cesaro in there. Let's have that as well. I wasn't complaining about the top. Yeah, I didn't think you would be, given the context of your conversation so far, Carmen. Yes. But on the road to Cesaro versus Rollins, very excited. Whoever they want to bring out of the woodwork to not face Cesaro in the next couple of weeks, I'm fine with. We need to get Rollins in the big swing again, at least twice. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that.
Yes.
Okay. I will remind people that this is a PG show before I discuss the next part, which is slightly questionable about it even being okay in 2021. But okay, Here it comes.
Carry on.
The transformation of Apollo Crews continued on SmackDown as he made his way to the ring, flanked by men in military militia camouflage. Crews said that they were members of the Nigerian Elite Guard. He continued to speak about his childhood and being mocked and disrespected by the American children. He stated that he heard the same disrespect from Big E, and that's why he had to conquer him. Crews added that he was excited for the return of Big E next week and demanded another match for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
And the accent.
Yes. Yes.
It's 2021, man, and we're greenlighting fake Nigerian accents.
Really?
I was fine with the Elite Guard. I'm all good with that. I like the bringing in of the Nigerian kind of elements. Like he's changed his attire. He's wearing more green. Even the staff, I'm like, yep, cool. I'm all fine with that. It just adds to the character.
Then he opened his mouth.
It's like he was being racist to himself.
Yeah.
Is that can you be racist to yourself? Is that a thing that's possible?
Yes, you could.
I suppose it's
way
being racist to other people who are like you. Is that a thing? It's the whole thing is confusing. He pulled a reverse Kofi Kingston. Yeah, Kofi Kingston, who started with a Jamaican accent and then all of a sudden just rocked up in his American accent. Apollo Crews has had an American accent this entire time and then just rocks up in a Nigerian accent. Yeah. I think this was his character on the Indies. It was. Yeah, we discussed that last week.
Yeah.
But even with the Nigerian accent, yeah, all it needed was Wakanda Forever. That is the kind of direction they want it to go in, isn't it? That's where they're going here. But, you know, strange racist accent choices aside, I'm excited by this development of Apollo Crews because it might actually mean we see him do something decent again.
Yeah, hopefully.
I was excited when he came back to Raw last year and won the US title and had that fairly long run. It wasn't brief, at least.
Yeah, decent run with it, yeah.
And had some good rivalries with MVP and Lashley to a lesser extent. And then he came to SmackDown, nothing happened, and now we're here. So, a good Intercontinental title match would be a start. I think if they actually want this character to succeed, he needs to have the belt.
Yep.
Win the belt from Big E at Fastlane, and then have a rematch at WrestleMania after weeks of just being brutal with each other, just being atrocious to each other in the way that Apollo Crews was to Big E to put him out. I want to see retaliation, like Big E on Sheamus style violence, putting him through the window of a car and all that kind of stuff. Real aggressive side of Big E, and just make it some kind of special match at WrestleMania. Yeah. S.
And lose the accent.
And lose the accent, yeah. S, says Carmen. I don't know what that means, but it's the first family-friendly thing he said all day, so we'll take it. That was a mistake. I actually wanted to say beep, 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 beep. Right, yeah, that makes more sense, yeah.
There's a few other words you probably said that begin with S, but...
Okay.
Anyway.
Main event.
With Roman Reigns watching on from ringside, Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan squared off in a steel cage match to close out SmackDown. After both men fought fairly evenly throughout the match, and with each man trying to escape rather than pin for the majority, the end came when Bryan locked Uso in the label lock. Uso struggled to reach the ropes They struggled to reach the ropes, but did not remember that rope break does not exist inside of a cage, and so Bryan did not have to release the hold. Unable to escape, Uso tapped out, and Bryan booked his ticket to a Universal Championship match against Roman Reigns at Fastlane. Yeah.
Yes. Basically, the thing that should have happened last week, just offset a week.
Yes.
We've already talked about the match itself, Reigns and Bryan.
Mm.
I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm also looking forward to seeing where this goes between now and Fastlane. So we've got 2 SmackDowns before that, I believe. Is it a week Sunday Fastlane? That sounds right.
Yes.
Carry the one. Yeah.
Yes, it's on the 21st.
Yes. So 2 SmackDowns. There's going to have to be something big this week from Daniel Bryan to make it seem like this newfound passion that he seems to have got actually stands a chance of taking down Roman Reigns and winning the belt. So,
yeah.
Do we think there's a pathway to a Bryan Edge Reigns triple threat? I think there is a pathway to it. I personally don't want it. I would much rather have one or t'other against Edge. I'm not even too concerned what that is. But I don't want a triple threat. Not for what should be the actual main event of WrestleMania. The Royal Rumble winner should be in the main event. So either, Edge is in it or Bianca Belair is in it. Yeah. And the Women's Revolution is, kind of being sidebarred again. So it should be Edge.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And I would much rather that be in a one-on-one match rather than another multi-man WrestleMania main event. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a way to give Edge a chance to get some rest in during the match and not have to massively tax himself. But I think we've seen since Edge came back, especially in terms of the Royal Rumble, that he's got the stamina to go it alone, and I think he could have a good match. He'd have a good match with either Bryan or Reigns on his own. So I would much rather we just stick one-on-one. But triple threat is totally possible from where this is going. The idea that Daniel Bryan is kind of elbowing his way into the title picture. If Edge gets involved in the match at Fastlane, and the actual outcome doesn't happen because Edge has got involved and speared them both, then maybe it does become a triple threat. Maybe Edge screws himself out of that one-on-one match.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe.
Some questionable decisions potentially incoming. And, speaking of Edge and questionable decisions, we don't often talk about WWE's competition on this show. It's it's the main roster. It's not the elite roster. But this past Sunday, AEW held a pay-per-view event, Revolution, which teased a big free agent signing and was main evented by a barbed wire death match, which we haven't seen on television in the West for a great number of years. Is this going to be about fireworks? You betcha. With speculation, wait for it, with speculation running rampant about who the free agent could be, it was actually Christian Cage who made his way to the ring, signed a contract, revealed his t-shirt, out, work, everyone, and leave. In the main event, the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega and challenger Jon Moxley endured explosions every time they collided with the ropes or the barbed wire panels around the ring. The end of the match came after interference from the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, and an exploding barbed wire baseball bat which allowed Omega to pin Mox and retain his title. After the match, the group handcuffed Moxley and continued the beatdown until a 1-minute countdown began towards massive explosions. Omega and Co. fled, leaving Moxley in the ring. Eddie Kingston rushed to the ring and covered the prone body of Jon Moxley as the time expired. And there was a faint fizzle of some weak pyro, which knocked out Kingston. Referees and medical staff tended to Mox and Kingston as the pay-per-view ended. Where do you want to start, Dan? Christian or explosions?
I don't know. Let's start with Christian.
Okay. How do you feel about Christian in AEW?
I'm not sure, because it was only like yesterday that he was in the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. He's clearly ready to return to the ring. And, I called for Christian to return to the ring in WWE. So it would be hypocritical for me to turn around and say, no, I don't want Christian in the ring just because it's AEW. But the idea that they had been hyping this signing for a couple of weeks, for it to be somebody who had retired and has come back, had his return for another company, as you say, just the other day. It doesn't seem to meet the hype for me, personally.
No.
Because the reason that I wanted... Yeah. And the reason that I wanted Christian back is so that he could team with Edge, he could face Edge, he could face off against some of the guys that he had history with in WWE, and then, maybe close out with some of the younger guys.
Yeah.
There's some of that in AEW, but there's a lot less of it. It means less for him to be closing out his career against a bunch of guys that he's never wrestled before, in my opinion. Yeah. My biggest problem is his damn slogan and t-shirt. Out, full stop. Work, full stop. Everyone, full stop. Outwork is one word.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
Outwork is one word. He's not...
Clearly not in America.
He's like, out, okay, right, I'm leaving. Work, I can't do that and leave. What do you want me to do? I am a free, exactly. I am a free. I am not man. A number. Have they not got a quality control division who just take one glance at this and going, yeah, that doesn't make any damn sense.
Clearly not.
If you want to say outwork everyone, then it's outwork, full stop, everyone, full stop. Add a third word if you want to. Outwork, full stop, everyone, full stop, always, full stop. But out.work. It doesn't make sense. It does my head in.
Yeah.
And I probably would have been fine with Christian being there if it wasn't for his stupid t-shirt.
His t-shirt has ruined everything.
Always ruined everything. Now, the ring exploding, the big explosions.
It's going to be hard to keep this PG.
Well, I'm going to turn over to you. What was that?
It was Gilbert's entrance.
So
the sparks is going off, They
hyped it as, doom and gloom. Should the match not reach a conclusion, the ring will explode. First of all, the match did end. There was a conclusion.
Yeah.
Why didn't the timer stop? That's the first problem here. Second, I'm okay with it counting down and then going, pfft. I don't have a problem with that in itself, because the whole exploding ring was conceived by Kenny Omega, and you could just turn around and say, yeah, it was a troll. he hyped this massive explosion, and then it was just and nothing happened. Yeah. But you can't do that when Eddie Kingston pretends to be knocked out by nothing.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. And it gets worse when people try to defend it. There was a media call after AEW Revolution, and AEW president Tony Khan obviously commented on this because that was the first question, i.e., yes, I'm blah 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 from this outlet. Mr. Khan, what exactly was that, and why was it so dumb?
Was that a lump of garbage? He
replied, both guys are great, honestly. I'm glad neither guy came out with a serious injury because it was a really scary match. The party poppers were a good 60 centimetres away from the ropes. There was no risk. Calm yourself. And both really put their health at risk. No, they didn't. For a huge pay-per-view main event. Okay. It was awesome. It was not. It was a great spectacle. It was not. And I think we're all lucky that the bomb going off in the end didn't really hurt anybody there. Shut your mouth. Kenny's master plan.
Bomb going off.
Kenny's master plan. He built a dud. Yeah. No bleep. Who would have thought, when he drew up the big plan with crayons, that the bomb failed to take both guys out? The battle really delivered. Excellent action. Both guys came out okay, which is great because on paper it looked like the kind of match where somebody could get hurt. He's rambling here. The plans we saw in crayon, and all through the match, we saw it. I'm not sure what that sentence was trying to say. It looked very cool. It is a very deadly, painful match, but at the end, I don't know what people wanted. Unless you actually wanted us to explode the guys at the end. There's only so much you can do. I want you to not explode them, not have a stupid death match, and just have a regular wrestling match between two of the greatest wrestlers in the world. Maybe? Just an idea? Or if you're going to do the stupid death match, at least use the same level of pyro that you used for Scorpio Sky's entrance as you use to explode the ring.
Yeah. When you explode the ring, at least make the ring collapse. Like WWE do when some big guys fall on top of it.
Yeah.
Do that, like have a big explosion underneath, the ring post buckle and all that, and it all just falls on top of them.
They had
that would have been better.
They had a whole football stadium at their disposal. If they were concerned about doing it in a small arena of this size, then you take it 100 yards into the Jaguar Stadium, like they did for that Stadium Stampede match, and you just set off a bunch of fireworks. And you just create so much smoke that you can't actually see that nothing has happened. But even then, okay, so his notion now is, yeah, it was a dud, haha, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Why did Eddie Kingston act like he'd just been shot in the face?
Because he's dumb.
Like one person, like the left hand isn't talking to the right hand. Eddie, we like you to go out there and sell a ring explosion. Okay, boss, I've gone. Nobody turned around and said, actually, the bomb's a dud. Just like, if he'd have covered him like that, and then when it just went, he'd have just gone.
Oh.
Then it would have redeemed the entire thing.
Would have been alright, yeah.
Stupid.
No.
Last sentence from Tony Khan. So without blowing the ring and both guys up, I think the basic explanation is that Kenny's ring set to explode, his plan as a heel to build this thing with a hammer and nails, as we saw, the final bomb just didn't go off. Yeah. Eddie Kingston didn't get that memo.
Yeah.
And if you watch this pay-per-view, having not watched AEW before or for a long time, as was the case for me, I am not enticed to watch again. Will I be tuning into Dynamite on Wednesday? Nope.
No.
Epic fail. Epic fail. All that hype for the signing and for this, match that we never get to see on television, and if WWE can set someone on fire without murder, so can you, Khan. Absolutely. Yeah?
Yeah.
You can't mock WWE's cinematic matches on one hand, like their entire roster have been doing, and then try to do it and do it badly on the other hand. It just doesn't work like that. And don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not defending a lot of the crap that WWE do. A lot of it has been terrible. But if you are mocking it on one hand and then trying to emulate it with the other, then you've got to look yourself in the face and say, what are you doing?
WTF.
Either do it or don't.
Yes.
And on that bombshell, we need to take a break.
Yes,
when we come back, we'll take you through Monday Night Raw. Dan's going to dish the dirt in Dan's dirt sheets, and we're going to get ready for Roster Mania 2. Stay with us. We'll be back soon. Bye-bye. Welcome back, everyone. The music didn't work as planned, but yeah, what are you going to do? Welcome back to the main roster. We've thoroughly put AEW to task and gone through Friday Night SmackDown. Yes. And now it is time for the segment that we like to call Dan's Dirt Sheet.
Dirty.
What do you have for us today? And is it AEW is shutting down after that ludicrous segment?
Something makes me wish it was. But no, it's to do with NXT, actually. So, a little bit of context for this for people who don't watch it. On NXT last week, which was the 3rd of March, they had the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Women's Tag Team Classic competition, which was Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, I think that's her name. I don't know. Take on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, this ended in controversial fashion via it was Shayna Baszler in the ring versus Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai tagged out to Raquel Gonzalez. I don't think Shayna Baszler saw this, but Raquel Gonzalez went straight after Nia Jax, who was on the apron, subsequently knocking out the referee. Then Raquel went outside of the ring and tackled Nia Jax over the announce table, which was very good. But obviously Shayna Baszler didn't see the tag, so she immediately put the Carafuna clutch, I think I'm saying that right, on Dakota Kai. Obviously there was no referee, so for some reason, Adam Pearce appeared with the main roster referee. Now, the way we can tell it's main roster referee is he has a WWE logo on his shirt. NXT referees have an NXT logo on his shirt. Referee came down to the ring, and Dakota Kai was still in the clutch, and subsequently was KO'd. She was unconscious, so the referee called for the bell. So technically, Dakota Kai wasn't a legal person, so she shouldn't have been counted out. That's the whole story. After that, we see William Regal getting irate, and he says next week, tomorrow for us, which will be Wednesday the 10th of March, there'll be a big announcement. And rumours are that will be an NXT Women's Tag Team Championship belt. So they're going to get their own Women's Tag Team Championships.
Okay. That's interesting. That wasn't where I thought you were going to go, actually, because there is another big rumour about NXT. And
Really?
I'll drop that in a second. Why not?
I think I might know what it is.
But, I mean, do you want a Women's Tag Team Championship on NXT? I don't really feel it's necessary.
No, I don't feel it's necessary because they're defending the Women's Tag Team Championships over the 3 brands. Obviously, not as much on NXT. But they are trying to be honest, if they do get the belt, knowing WWE, it will literally just be Women's Tag Team Championships, probably on a black strap because it's NXT.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I love that you went straight to the what will the belt look like perspective. If it's a real thing, yeah. Not does it make sense for the company or for the story or any of that kind of stuff. Just
I saw that.
Yeah, no, they don't use the actual Women's Tag Team Championships enough. So, what purpose would it be to add another belt for the How many teams were there? There weren't that many. There weren't that many teams in the Women's Dusty Classic, was there?
I think there
6?
was 6. Yeah, around 6. Was there 8? I think there might have been 8.
But most of them were made up.
Yes.
And
basically,
yeah, I'm not convinced personally,
yeah.
And so I hope that rumor is not true because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The other rumor that I heard is that NXT are planning to move to Tuesday nights rather than Wednesday nights.
Yes.
Which does make more sense, but I kind of don't like that they're giving up on the Wednesday night war, if that's the case.
Yeah, I think that's more likely than Women's Tag Team, but never know. And come Rider Wizard that says 10 quid says Dan gets the belt.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that bet. I'm not gonna take that bet. That's a losing formula. Hi Sorcerer, welcome. Every other wrestling network not greater than NXT. Yeah, I mean I haven't watched NXT in a while. It hasn't held my interest for quite some time. I've mentioned here before that the wrestling quality is fine, but there's something about not having a crowd at NXT that really ruins it for me.
I mean, there's a bit more of a crowd now.
Yeah, people in Perspex don't count for me. Just going and yeah. To be honest, is it really a ratings war? It kind of is, and not in the way that conventionally it was, and the way that the Monday Night War was. But if you take one of the shows off, I guarantee you that the other show will get over 1 million viewers.
Yeah,
because they're both skirting around that 900,000 mark every week each.
Yeah,
and you're telling me that the people who have religiously tuned in to watch wrestling on a Wednesday night aren't going to just go, oh, okay, fine. If NXT isn't on, I'll just go and watch the other thing. I would see an immediate bump. I think both shows would go straight up to about 1.2, 1.3.
Yeah.
You'd lose some people, but other people would be like, yeah, I'll just watch some wrestling on my evening.
Watch the other one.
Yeah. So it's probably the best move for both of them.
Yeah.
I'd rather they, fought to the death, but it's 2021, and that kind of stuff doesn't matter as much as it did in 1998. No. So
no.
There we go. Mind. Does that conclude your dirty sheets?
It does conclude my dirty sheets.
Lovely. Well, then, in that case, if you'd like to take us into the beginning of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, Monday Night Raw kicked off with a recap of Lashley's WWE Championship victory last week, followed by The Miz and John Morrison in the ring. Miz complained about the events that led to him losing his title. After Lashley made his way to the ring with more intense explosions than AEW's big explosion, a rematch from last week got underway. The match went about as well expected for The Miz, and Bobby Lashley completed his first defense of the WWE Championship with relative ease.
It struck me as strange.
I have to say, my mum likes Bobby Lashley.
Well, he's a big guy.
Yeah. She came in while that match was going on, and she went, "Oh, who's he?"
There you go. Yeah. It struck me as strange that they decided to have a rematch, being that they don't really do automatic rematches anymore. I think the only reason they wanted to do this was that they just wanted to put a defense under Lashley's belt before they bring in whatever's next. And I become
Brock Lesnar.
I become more and more convinced, and this stuff that happened on Raw does not dissuade me, that it is Brock Lesnar. I'm pretty sure it's Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Like, going all in on his entrance and just having him look as jacked as possible in his entrance and extra pyro. Yeah. It's like, this guy is being hyped as, the next big thing. Pardon my throwback pun. And so I think Brock Lesnar is on his way and will probably come for a stare down at Fastlane.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think. So help me God, if Brock versus Bobby happens, I will mess myself. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're more excited. Yeah. I think he's more excited about it than anybody else.
Yeah.
But I'll take it. It's better than any other alternative I can think of on Raw.
Yeah.
With their roster that they've systematically depleted over the course of the coronavirus pandemic. Yeah. Wow, that'll be a fun 2-minute match. 3.5, 4. Bobby Lashley can go.
At push, 5.
I mean, how long was the McIntyre-Lesnar match? That was a good 6 minutes, right?
I think it was 8 minutes.
Wow. A double-length match from Brock Lesnar.
I know.
Incredible.
I know. Didn't make it to double digits, though.
No, I've wanted it for years, back when Lashley was champ in TNA. Yeah, well, and I should have dug it out. I actually asked Bobby Lashley about the potential of fighting Brock Lesnar when he was in Impact Wrestling. I've got the sound clip somewhere of me talking to Bobby Lashley, so I will dig that out. Can't remember exactly what I asked, but he definitely went on to speak about Brock Lesnar and how that was a dream match of his. So, I used to interview people for Impact Wrestling Weekly, but that was some time ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Onwards to the maybe other alternative to Brock Lesnar for the title match at WrestleMania, but again, given the events on Raw, I don't see it. Backstage, Drew McIntyre was interviewed, where he stated that only he could be considered number one contender for the WWE Championship, and then went on to talk down Bobby Lashley's accomplishment, reminding them that he beat Brock Lesnar to be WWE Champion. Rather than lowering himself to The Miz. Miz beat him, so it's not really a valid statement. McIntyre was then jumped by Sheamus. An irate Scotsman went straight to Adam Pearce to demand a no disqualification match. A short while later, the match took place and seemed on course to be a repeat of last week, but with steel steps held up around their heads, the two men ran face first into each other. With Sheamus unable to answer the referee, the match was thrown out, and both men were carried out of the arena.
To be fair, Sheamus actually looked quite injured.
The replay that they played when they were like, look at Sheamus's head as the two collide and his head didn't move at all. I was like, you chose that replay and it did not show what you wanted it to.
I'd say the only thing that could have injured him was when he fell down, steps did fall on his face. He didn't actually put up his hands, it actually landed on his head. So I was a bit like,
yeah. I think he kind of expected when he went backwards that the steps would just come with him and land either side of his head. But where he let go, the steps kind of tipped, and the broad side of it, went bomb straight into his face. So
I think he was a little bit.
He was probably a little bit out of it, if not unconscious. Yeah. It didn't seem like it was a huge deal. They were like fake medical staff rather than actual medical staff, or fake medicining, if you want to call it that.
Yes.
So I think he's probably fine. But it draws out this rivalry that we thought was dead last week. After McIntyre just beat Sheamus clean, there's really nothing left to prove. And they're like, they obviously watched our show, Dan, and we're like, well, that's the end of that feud. There's no way you can go from here. And like, we'll show them. We'll just start like nothing ever happened last week.
Vince McMahon saw it and went, I'll show them, damn it.
So maybe as plans change and they're like, Brock's in, oh, Brock's out. Brock's in, oh, Brock's out. And they've just kept McIntyre as a potential backup. Maybe now they've got pen to paper and like, no, okay, back on the Sheamus versus McIntyre train all the way to WrestleMania. Let's ride. Choo choo. Don't know what kind of trains you're riding.
With funny horns.
Flatulent trains.
Absolutely.
So, not entirely excited about that. That's already kind of fizzled into nothing. But I am excited about our next conversation, our next topic.
So, the continuing series of misunderstandings and unforced errors continued between Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon as the Monster Among Men headed to the ring to demand an apology. Shane McMahon came to the ring, squared up to Strowman, said, "I apologise," and left. It did not appear like Strowman was very happy with McMahon's curt apology. Later in the night, Shane called Braun back to the ring because he needs to come to an understanding with Braun Strowman. And didn't much explain what this meant and kept his distance while winding up the Monster Among Men with jokes about how stupid Strowman is. After Braun had enough and made a beeline for Shane O'Mac, Shane ran away. Shane made it look like he had escaped in a car, but as Braun chased the car, McMahon came out of hiding, calling Strowman stupid once again.
Now, this is probably going to mean very little to you, but hopefully there's somebody in the chat who is from the era that can understand this. I was having major flashbacks when this was happening, and Shane McMahon was there just mocking Braun Strowman, calling him stupid, and then running away. I had major Shane McMahon versus The Big Show, Judgment Day 2000 vibes, and the whole, which way did he go? Oh ho, oh ho. Which way did Shane go? Oh ho, oh ho. And it's just, I hope he brings that back for this. It's exactly the same as the feud that he had with Big Show back in 2000, and it was so much fun. Reuse, recycle, make it better because Braun Strowman can have a better match with Shane McMahon. not in his prime than Big Show could have with Shane McMahon in his prime, in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice little throwback. I like how Braun Strowman just goes through the range of emotions. He goes from, okay, I'm calm, I'm here for my apology, to I'm irate and I'm going to rip your head off. We get a full range of emotions from him. And I'm looking forward to Strowman not getting hold of Shane McMahon for at least the next 3 weeks, and getting hold of him long enough to say, okay, we'll fight at WrestleMania, and that'll be that.
Yes. You know.
And then we size up Shane McMahon for the cannons at Raymond James Stadium and prepare to shoot Shane McMahon out of a cannon. Can't wait. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful, folks. Moving on. Ahead of their Raw Tag Team Championship match next week, the New Day's Xavier Woods took on the Hurt Business's Shelton Benjamin. The end of the match came suddenly as Benjamin spent time mouthing off to Kofi Kingston and was rolled up quickly for a Xavier Woods victory. There's not much to say about this, really, other than it was what it was.
And I liked the New Day's ring gear.
Didn't pay enough attention to the ring gear, to be honest.
It's like it's got like a Mortal Kombat-esque. Yeah.
There we go. That explains why Kofi Kingston dropped a Mortal Kombat quote when he was talking with Riddle backstage.
Yeah.
I think he did the "Get over here."
Yeah, I think Xavier was Sub-Zero and Kingston was Scorpion.
Yeah, I wasn't paying any attention to what they were wearing, apparently.
Dare you not look at somebody's fashion?
No, you're the fashion guy on this podcast, though. I leave that squarely to you.
All right, then.
Quick prediction. Who wins next week?
I reckon Hurt Business retain.
I agree. Let's move on.
Yeah. Continuing their issues from last week, Retribution put up Slapnuts this week to take on United States champion Riddle. Matt Riddle. Slapnuts was defeated fairly easily after a final flash knee from Riddle, much to the annoyance of Retribution's leader, Ali. Next week on Raw, Riddle will defend the championship against Mustafa Ali.
And we'll have another prediction in a moment. I'm not sure that the tag team match is next week, actually. They said there are 2 championship matches next week. And I think there might be another women's tag team title match. I don't know. We'll predict it anyway. I'm kind of excited to see Riddle and Mustafa Ali. I don't see Ali winning the belt, but I think it'll be a good match at least.
I can see Riddle retaining, but a good match. Hopefully, there won't be any chance of trying to kill him.
Yes. Yeah, obviously, they kind of started it off last week. And they'll finish it next week. I hope that Retribution are not at ringside. I hope that Ali says, I want to show you how this is done.
Yes.
You can stay in the back and watch it on screens.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't love Riddle or Ali's characters, but they could tear it up if given time. I think, yeah. If they're going to have a match that is going to be of any caliber, they need to be given 2 segments over a commercial break, I think. And on Raw, I think they're more likely to give them that than they would at, say, Fastlane. So hopefully they put 2 and 2 together and realise what they've actually got on their hands here. And we'll get something akin to the caliber of match that Ali had on 205 Live with people like Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy. So that's the type of match that we could get here. Dropping boom, baby. Emotes, I like those emotes. Whose emotes are they? Chugs. Whoever Chugs is. I don't know who Chugs is. I like Riddle, says Welsh Nana K. I know. Shooting his
Nana
flip-flops all
K.
over the place. Gonna have to do a watch along with Nana K and your mum at some point once this COVID stuff is over.
Oh, we'll have to because it will just be hilarious.
Yeah, we won't say anything. We'll just mic them both up, put them in a room, and watch them to. Oh, Adam Cole stream. Why does he call himself Chugs? Weird. Full disclosure, I don't like the idea of celebrities on Twitch, so I largely ignore them, to be honest.
Why are you on Twitch?
Very funny. Flattering and funny and not at all accurate. But there you go. Yeah, so Riddle to retain next week. And that's the end of that, as far as I'm concerned. Next up, a championship match on Raw. The Women's Tag Team Championships were on the line as Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defended against Naomi and Lana. Jax was accompanied by Reginald, whom it appears she has poached after he was fired by Carmella on SmackDown. Reginald paid immediate dividends for the women's tag champs, as the distraction he caused allowed Jax to surprise Lana with a splash and powerbomb to retain the titles. So now we can resume the Reginald conversation from earlier.
Yes.
Not that I have any further clarity, really, on what his point is, but at least going to Jax and Baszler, mostly Jax, keeps him involved in the championship picture.
Yes.
And it's Banks and Belair that are getting the championship shot at Fastlane. So it keeps him in that mix. Why are creative so high on Reginald? What does he have on them? I mean, he's a flippy-dippy dude. He's pretty good at what he does, and that's, running away, hiding, flipping, and looking scared. Yeah. He could be a very entertaining manager for someone. All they really need to do is decide who that is and leave them there.
Yeah. Do it.
It would have been much better if they'd have left him as Carmella's manager, sommelier, whatever you want to call it, and just go with that. But they brought Carmella back, ruined her promptly, and she's just been cast aside. So, without knowing or being able to predict where this is going, all I can do is share my hope for where this is going. And I'm not quite sure how we get there, but I hope that somewhere between now and WrestleMania, somewhere involving Fastlane in this tag team championship match, I would assume, we see Sasha Banks really go to town on Bianca Belair by deploying Reginald to beat her up. I want to see them do something they haven't done in a very long time in WWE, and that's have, a man go after a woman violently. Because they've mixed this up already. They had Sasha take on Reginald. So, all bets are off there. And they're trying to move away from the PG a little bit. So I want to see, at the very least, Reginald smash a bottle of champagne over the back of Belair or something like that. And Sasha, and rather than Sasha Banks, do what she's been doing and slap him across the face and say, "No, I don't want this," to embrace it and tell him to go and get a steel chair so that she can beat the hell out of Belair as well.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to WrestleMania, it's Sasha Banks accompanied by Reginald against Belair, and Sasha Banks is a heel, and we don't get a dull babyface versus babyface match at WrestleMania.
Yes.
That's where I hope this is going.
There you go.
If it has to go somewhere, please let it be there.
Hopefully.
But if that is the plan, I'm not sure how you get there from the current weird situation that they've got playing.
Where they're both Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks are going to be tagging for the Women's Tag Team Championships again for some reason.
Yeah. Because
I did a little bit of research into the women's tag team championships, and there's only been one like purpose-made tag team to win the women's tag team championships. That was the Iconics.
Mm-hmm.
There's not been any like other ones. The only other one that has been in contention is the Riot Squad.
Yeah.
And they haven't even got anywhere with it, which is like, why not?
No, yeah. And because even the teams that they've thrown together, they haven't given them a tag team name, so they haven't really.
No.
Yeah, I suppose you could say that Mandy Rose and Thingy-my-bobby Sonya Deville were a team, Fire and Desire, and they were in contention.
Yeah.
So that would have been another, but no, you're right.
Yeah.
And it just strikes me as weird that with all of the women they have in NXT, that they haven't just debuted more female tag teams, or just actually put some tag teams together, because they don't want to use most of the people they've got on the main roster as singles wrestlers anymore. Why don't Naomi and Lana have a team name yet?
Because they probably never will.
They have more in common than the majority of tag teams, you know? Glow and something, I don't know. Glow no. Glow no, not TikTok again. There you go, that's the name. Take that to the bank. Put that on t-shirts. Can't wait to be one of 3 people wearing a Glow no t-shirt.
Yeah, you can make that as the merch. It done.
Merch coming soon to the main roster.
Glow no.
Okay, so aside from the wrestling action on Raw, we had some other news as well.
Yes.
Drop that on us.
So it was announced on Raw last night that tickets would be available next week for a limited number of attendees for WrestleMania. Do you think it's a good idea? We have the feel of a normal WrestleMania. That's what I want to know.
I don't think it'll have quite the same feel of a normal WrestleMania, but it'll have a closer feel to a Raw, or a SmackDown, or a regular pay-per-view than anything has for a very long time. I wouldn't have been convinced, but having watched, especially the latter half of the NFL season, where they've had limited seating in stadiums and they've sat them in, their groups socially distanced, they can still get pretty loud. And not sure I have any basis for this, but I think that wrestling fans can get louder than your average person going to a football game. Especially at a WrestleMania. So I'm excited to have some real people back there again and get some genuine crowd reactions, not piped in electronic chants. The worst of which was on Raw during the McIntyre Sheamus match, where they had that electronic dro, 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 dro. That was atrocious. It is like a robot was saying it. That's where Jezbot's disappeared to. He's gone to pretend to be crowd for WWE.
Yeah, Jezbot's gone.
He's gone. He's not coming back. So, yeah, exciting. I think it's going to be a very Floridian crowd. I don't see many people travelling for WrestleMania, given the current circumstances. Even though, like us here in the UK, the Americans have started to get their act together a bit with vaccinations. Better than it was, at least. My interest is what happens after WrestleMania. Are we back in the Thunderdome, or are we having limited attendance on a normal tour? What's next? Where do we go from here? And when do we get full-time attendance back? Will that be in time for SummerSlam? These are all questions.
Who knows?
Who knows? And just as confusing as that situation is the confusion surrounding Randy Orton, who is the feature of Raw's main event. Earlier in the night, Randy Orton caught AJ Styles mocking him backstage, and so Orton challenged Styles to a match later on. In the main event, they had a competitive match, fairly reminiscent of their WrestleMania meeting a few years ago. As the match built to a climax, Alexa Bliss appeared on the Titantron and lit a match to place some kind of curse on Orton once again. In the ring, he vomited black liquid for what is now the third time. And that allowed AJ Styles to hit the phenomenal forearm while distracted. Styles made the pin as Alexa Bliss laughed her way all the way to the end of the show.
Yeah.
There's going slow.
I'm still liking this.
Yeah, I like it too, but there's going slow and there's nothing's really happening.
Yeah, I think they're trying to stretch it out until probably WrestleMania.
But there's plenty of Randy Orton's evil twin stuff to be done before The Fiend comes back. Let's start having Randy Orton versus Randy Orton matches all the way up to Fastlane and at Fastlane.
Great, Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss.
Randy Orton versus Randy Orton accompanied by Alexa Bliss. That's what we need. Cinematic match. Yeah. He fights himself as, you know, he has flashbacks of all the evil he's done across his career. And then in the end, Randy Orton doesn't even win because The Fiend returns and chokes out both Randy Ortons. You've got two mandible claws, both hands. Randy Orton's there, and then all of a sudden, you know, they just kind of merge back into one Randy Orton. Bucket Dana.
That'd be cool. Okay, all right, hold on. Let me just get on the phone to.
Hello, Vince. Damn it! It's these again.
It's these podcast people again.
We like your ideas, so we're not going to use them. Damn it! I'm Vince McMahon. Yeah, so not much to add compared to last week on this. Interesting that you have more imagination than they do. I think you're probably right. Yeah, unfortunately. I would love to have something more creative to tread water, waiting for the Fiend to come back, but will we get it? Probably not.
No.
And so, you know what? I'm just going to have to channel this creativity and this booking somewhere else. And what's that?
Where could that be?
It seems like it's a perfect time to announce our second annual Rostermania.
Yes.
Rostermania 2 is coming up in a number of weeks. For those that have not been involved with this podcast before, this time last year, and again for SummerSlam, we created our own fantasy pay-per-view events to commemorate WrestleMania and then SummerSlam, and we're doing it again with Rostermania 2. The way that it works is that we fill a card with matches from wrestling's past, from any company, but there is a structure that we must keep to, which I'm going to go through with you momentarily. And the dates for this show are as follows. We will draft, as in put the card together, in a special show on Saturday, March the 20th. In 2 weeks to watch the event, take stock, look at what it looked like as a whole event, and then we will go through it all and celebrate Rostermania 2 on Saturday, April the 3rd, which is the weekend before WrestleMania. Here's how it works.
Yeah.
This is what the card will look like. This is what the matches are chosen from. We're going to have a lower/mid-card championship match. We will be choosing from WWE European Championship matches, WCW Television Championship, ECW Television Championship, TNA X Division, WWE Hardcore, or WWE 24/7 Championship matches. Any of those will be up to fill that spot. We're going to have a light championship match, either the WWE, WCW, or NXT Cruiserweight Championships, or the WWE Light Heavyweight Championship, any of those matches. We're going to have 3 non-title matches. They can be from any company, they can be any match style. No titles allowed. It cannot be a championship match for these non-title matches. Clues in the name. We're going to have a tag team championship match. Any tag team championships from any company. We're going to have a women's championship match. Any iteration of the WWE women's championships, be that the original, the Divas, or the new Raw and SmackDown championships. NXT, AEW Women's World Championship, or the TNA Knockouts Championship. For the first time, we didn't have this in the last 2 events, we're going to have an extreme / hardcore / cinematic match. That can be from any company, any match style. Again, there can be no titles allowed in this. Something special and different. We're going to have a mid-card championship match. Intercontinental US AEW TNT Championship. That's been added into that option for the first time. The NXT North American Championship, and another first-timer of the WWE United Kingdom Championship, if there are any matches from that division that might pique people's interest. And then finally, obviously, we'll have a World Championship match to finish, either from WWE, WCW, WWE World, Universal, or WWE Undisputed Championships, the AEW World Championship, or the NXT Championship. For the first time, we've thrown NXT in there as a World Championship as well. If you would like to take part and suggest matches, we would thoroughly encourage that. We love input from you. Make sure you are in our Discord page. You can make suggestions there in the hashtag wrestling channel, or in my channel, The Jez Show. You can also contact us on Facebook and Twitter. At The Jez Show is the username for that. Throw your suggestions in, and we will decide them on March the 20th for the Rostermania draft show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have fond memories of Rostermania last year.
So do I.
Was it Rostermania that we got your mum and dad to watch, or was that Roster Slam?
No, it was Rostermania.
Yeah, and that was thoroughly entertaining. I don't think we'll do that again this year, because I don't think your parents can sit through another 4 hours of wrestling without wanting to kill you. But
yeah,
it was thoroughly entertaining. So while we're on the topic of dates, WrestleMania obviously is 2 nights again this year, on the 10th and 11th of April. We as the main roster will be reviewing those. The second night will be in our usual Tuesday time slot, but we'll have a special episode on Monday night, April the 11th, for night 1 of WrestleMania. So you've got lots and lots of us coming, if
lots of us
is what you like. And quite frankly, why wouldn't you want more of us?
My legs a bit.
And if you want more of us and people similar to us, you can tune into the other streamers on the Primetime Streamer Network. It's Tuesday. We're just wrapping up the main roster here. Coming up later, in about 2 hours' time, there are 2 wonderful streamers kicking off at 6:30 p.m. Research 1 is Tuesday Night Trucking. Mama S is playing Mass Effect Andromeda. I think it's called Mass Effect Andromeda. It's in Andromeda. I don't know the Mass Effect series. I'm sorry if I messed that up. And then an hour later, the Tuesday Night Kill stream kicks off with Always Be Chatting as he continues his genocide run on Undertale. And he's got a new guitar, so there'll probably be some guitar playing and singing and the usual miscellaneous not playing a video game that we get from Always Be Chatting. Tomorrow night, at 6:30 p.m, Reese is back with Control. Then I'm back at 8:30 playing Grand Theft Auto 3, where Reese will not be invited because I'm still sour about him blowing me up a few weeks ago. And at 1 a.m. GMT, Rooster Beast will be taking requests on Rocksmith. Lots more to come across the week. Stay tuned to the Primetime Streamer Network for all your entertainment needs. I'm going to get the pre-ending music going. I will once again thank everybody for coming today to our second Twitch Sports stream on this channel, on the Jez Show, for our 50th episode of the main roster. Big milestone. 8 PM on Friday is Don't Get Me Started. Yes, I need to update the schedule. That was wrong. I didn't get that far in reading it, but yeah, 8 PM is Don't Get Me Cocktailed on Friday. I've been Jez. That's been Dan. We're going to get out of here with a fizzle of explosions. I'm not sure which of us is going to dive over the other and then pretend that we've died of explosion, but we'll work that out. Well, we won't work that out, because we'll copy the same as AEW and just totally foul up the whole idea. It could have been good.
Okay.
Sound good? Ready?
F-
1,
F-
2, 3. See, we both died. None of us covered the other. What a waste. Thanks, folks. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.